So, Michelle, shall we make a start on our presentation? You haven't got that much time left. No, Adam, but at least we have done all the background reading. I found it really interesting. I'd never even heard of the Lakey eruption before this. Me neither. I suppose 1783 is a long time ago. But it was a huge eruption that is had such devastating consequences. I know. It was great there were so many primary sources to look at. It really gives you a sense of how catastrophic volcanic was. People was really trying to make sense of the science for the first time. That's right. But what I found more significant was how it impacted directly and indirectly on political events, as well as having massive social and economic consequences. I know that should be the main focus on our presentation. The observations made by people at the time was interesting, aren't it? I mean, they all gave a pretty consistent account of what happened, even if they didn't always use the same terminology. Yeah, I was surprised there were so many weather stations established by that time. So, you can see how the weather changed, often by the hour. Right. Writers at the time talk about the Lakey haze to describe the volcanic fog as they spread across Europe. They all realized that this wasn't the sort of fog they were used to, and of course this was the pre-industrial times, so they hadn't experienced severe smelling fog before. No, that's true. Reports from the period blame the haze for an increase in headache, respiratory issues, and asthma attacks. They, they all describe how it's covered the sun and make it look a strange red color. Must has been a very weird. It's interesting that Benjamin Franklin wrote about the hate. Did you read that? He was the American ambassador in Paris at that time. Yeah, at first no one realized that the haze was caused by a volcanic eruption in Iceland. He was Benjamin Franklin. It was Benjamin Franklin who realized that before anyone else. He often credited with that apparently, but French naturalists beat him to it. I can't remember his name. I have to look at I had to look it up. Then other naturalists naturalists had the same idea, all, inben- all, all independently of each other. Alright, we should we should talk about the immediate impact of the eruption, which was obviously enormous, especially in Iceland, where so many people died. Mm, you expect that, and the fact that the volcanic ash drifted so swiftly, but not that effects would go on so but not that the effects would go on for so long. Or that 2 years after the eruption, strange weather events were being reported as far as North America and North Africa. No, I found all the hard to believe too. It must been terrible, and there was nothing anyone could do about it. Even if they even if they knew the ash cloud was coming in their direction. We should run through some of the terrible consequences of the eruption experience in a different country. There's quite a va- there's quite a varied range, starting in Iceland, where the impact on farming were devastating. One of the most dramatic things there was the effect on livestock as they grazed in fields. They were puzzled because they ate vegetation and that, that had been contaminated with fluorine as a result of volcanic fallout. That was horrible. In Egypt, the Brazil weather pattern led to several droughts, and as a result, the Nile didn't flood, which means the crops are failed. It's so far from where the eruption happened, and yet the famine will lead to more people dying than many other countries. It's worse than the bleach. Okay, then it's in the UK the mortality rate went up a lot, presumably from respiratory, include an unusually high percentage of people under the age of 35. I think people will be surprised to hear that the weather in the USA was badly affected too. George Washington made a note in his diary that they were snowbound until March in Virginia. That was before he became this president. Yes, and there was ice floating down the Mississippi, which was unprecedented. Unprecedented. Astonishing. Astonishing, really. Anyway, what do you think?